The massive alien warship descended through the purple clouds of Valethia like a falling star. Commander Zephyr of the Korthani Empire watched the jungle world grow larger through his viewport. His 4 arms moved quickly across control panels, as he prepared for what would be the greatest hunt in galactic history. Behind him stood the finest beast hunters money could buy. The crystalline Vex had brought their energy nets that could stop a charging space rhino. The Gorvani mercenaries carried plasma rifles that could melt through starship hulls. The insectoid Threx had poison darts that could drop a giant in seconds. All of them had come for one prize: the shadow dragons of Valethia. For 300 years, stories had spread across the galaxy about these creatures. Dragons that could fly between worlds without ships, beasts that breathed fire hot enough to melt steel, monsters with intelligence that rivaled the greatest minds in known space. Every major power wanted one. The Galactic Council offered a reward of 10 million credits. The Trade Federation promised exclusive mining rights to 3 star systems. The Military Alliance guaranteed promotion to any hunter who brought back a living dragon. Zephyr flexed his clawed hands. He would be the one to claim that prize. The ship landed in a clearing beside the human research station. Zephyr barely glanced at the small buildings as he disembarked. Humans were a young species barely worth his attention. They had been studying this world for only 5 years and had learned nothing useful. Captain Brooks of the human station approached with a nervous smile. "Welcome to Valethia, Commander. We are honored to host such distinguished hunters." Zephyr towered over the human. His purple scales gleamed in the alien sunlight. "Where are the dragons?" he demanded. Brooks pointed toward the floating islands that hung in the sky above the jungle. "They nest up there. But I must warn you, they are extremely dangerous. We lost 3 research teams that got too close." Zephyr laughed, a sound like grinding metal. "Your people are soft. We are the greatest predators in the galaxy. These dragons will be in cages by sunset." The alien hunting party spread out across the jungle. Each group had their own plan. The Korthani would use their advanced technology to track the dragons from orbit. The Vex would create energy barriers to trap them. The Gorvani would simply shoot them down with overwhelming firepower. Maya watched from the observation deck of the human station. The young woman was barely 25, with the pointed ears that marked her as one of the last elves in human space. Her green eyes followed the alien hunters as they disappeared into the jungle. Dr. Williams joined her at the window. "Think they will succeed?" he asked. Maya shook her head. "They do not understand what they are hunting." Williams frowned. "What do you mean? The dragons are just animals, right? Dangerous ones, but still just beasts." Maya said nothing. She had spent 2 years on Valethia studying the local wildlife. She had seen things the other humans missed: patterns in the way the dragons moved, intelligence in their golden eyes, something that made her elf heritage whisper warnings. The first attack came at noon. Commander Zephyr was following energy readings through the jungle when the sky suddenly darkened. His sensors screamed warnings as something massive passed overhead. He looked up and froze. A dragon hung in the air above him. It was larger than his landing shuttle, with scales that seemed to absorb light. Its eyes burned like twin suns as it studied the hunting party below. "Fire!" Zephyr shouted. The Korthani opened up with everything they had. Plasma beams cut through the air where the dragon had been, but the creature was already gone. It moved like liquid shadow, impossible to track or target. The dragon struck back. A beam of pure energy lanced down from above. Where it touched the ground, jungle turned to glass. Zephyr dove for cover as his soldiers screamed. Half his squad was vaporized in seconds. The dragon circled once more, then vanished into the clouds. Similar disasters struck the other hunting parties. The Vex tried to surround a dragon with their energy nets, only to watch the creature phase through solid matter like a ghost. The Gorvani cornered what they thought was a young dragon in a canyon. It turned out to be the mother, and she was not happy. By evening, the alien hunters were in full retreat. Ships launched from the jungle carrying wounded survivors. Commander Zephyr himself had lost an arm to dragonfire. The crystalline Vex leader was found hours later, turned to solid crystal by some unknown weapon. The Gorvani mercenaries never came back at all. Maya stood on the landing pad, watching the alien ships flee into space. Around her, the human station buzzed with nervous energy. Captain Brooks was already sending messages to Earth requesting evacuation. But Maya was not afraid. She walked to her quarters and began packing a simple backpack. While others prepared to run, she was getting ready to do something that no alien hunter had tried. She was going to meet the dragons on their own terms. That night, as the twin moons rose over Valethia, Maya slipped out of the station. She carried no weapons, no nets, no cages. Just her research tablet and a lifetime of her grandmother teachings about respecting all intelligent life. The jungle was alive with sounds. Creatures called to each other in the darkness, while strange lights danced between the trees. Maya moved, carefully following paths that seemed to appear under her feet. She was not hunting. She was not trying to capture anything. She was simply walking toward the one place on Valethia where she knew the dragons might listen to her. Above her head, shadows moved between the floating islands. Golden eyes watched her progress through the jungle. The dragons had seen the alien hunters come and go. They had defended their territory with overwhelming force. But this small elf woman was different. She moved with respect, not aggression. She carried no weapons, only curiosity. For the first time in centuries, the dragons were intrigued by a visitor to their world. Maya walked deeper into the Valethian jungle as the first light of dawn filtered through the canopy. The alien hunters had been gone for 6 hours, but their presence still lingered in scorch marks on trees and craters where plasma weapons had missed their targets. The young elf woman paused at a stream to fill her water bottle. Her grandmother had taught her the old ways before joining the human space program. Patience above all else. Respect for every living thing. Never take what was not freely given. The other humans thought her strange for believing such things in an age of starships and energy weapons. But Maya had learned that some truths never changed no matter how far from Earth you traveled. She followed the stream deeper into the jungle until she found what she was looking for. A grove of silver trees arranged in a perfect circle. The branches overhead formed a natural dome that filtered sunlight into soft patterns on the forest floor. Ancient stone markers stood between the trees. They were covered in symbols that looked almost familiar. Maya had seen similar carvings in the old elf ruins on Earth. Her people had left marks like these in sacred places where the barriers between worlds grew thin. This was a holy site. A place of power that called to the deepest parts of her heritage. Maya set down her backpack in the center of the grove and sat cross-legged on the soft grass. She closed her eyes and began to wait. Hours passed. The twin suns of Valethia moved, across the sky casting shifting shadows through the silver leaves. Maya remained perfectly still, her breathing slow and steady. Small forest creatures emerged to investigate this strange visitor. Bright blue birds perched on her shoulders. A family of fox-like animals with 6 legs watched her from the edge of the grove. None of them seemed afraid of her. As afternoon faded to evening, Maya felt a change in the air. The forest sounds grew quiet. Even the wind seemed to hold its breath. Something ancient and powerful was approaching. The first shadow appeared between the trees just as the larger sun touched the horizon. It moved like flowing darkness, rippling through the forest without making a sound. Only Maya-enhanced senses allowed her to track its movement as it circled the grove. Golden eyes the size of dinner plates studied her from the shadows. Maya did not open her eyes. She did not move or reach for any device. She simply continued breathing and waiting. The dragon emerged from hiding with surprising grace. Despite being larger than the human shuttle that had brought Maya to Valethia, it landed without disturbing a single leaf. Steam rose from its nostrils as it breathed. Its scales seemed to absorb light, creating an aura of living shadow around its massive form. "You are not like the others," it said. The voice rumbled like distant thunder, but Maya understood every word. Her elf heritage had always made her sensitive to the speech of ancient things. "I am not hunting you," Maya replied without opening her eyes. This seemed to surprise the dragon. It lowered its great head to study her more closely. "Most who come to our world seek to cage us, to take us as prizes for their collections. Why are you different? Because my grandmother taught me that all thinking beings deserve respect, not conquest, Maya said. You are not beasts to be captured. You are people. The dragon was quiet for a long moment. When it spoke again, there was something like wonder in its voice. People. It has been so long since anyone called us that. Maya finally opened her eyes. The dragon was even more magnificent than she had imagined. Its scales held depths like looking into deep space. Ancient wisdom shone in those golden eyes. What are you really? Maya asked gently. The dragon settled onto the grass with a sound like distant wind chimes. We are the last keepers of the eternal archive. Our people once spanned 1,000 star systems. We were scholars and explorers, not the monsters your legends describe. What happened to them? Maya asked. War, the dragon said simply. A conflict that consumed entire galaxies. Our parents sent us here to guard the most precious thing they possessed. Knowledge that could rebuild civilization or destroy it depending on who found it. Maya felt her heart race. These dragons were not just intelligent predators. They were the last survivors of an ancient spacefaring race, living libraries carrying the wisdom of a lost civilization. The sound of approaching footsteps made both Maya and the dragon turn. 2 more dragons emerged from the forest. One had scales that shifted from blue to silver like flowing water. The other was white as fresh snow with veins of gold running through its hide. My siblings, the first dragon explained. We have watched over this world together for 3,000 years. The blue dragon spoke in a voice like singing crystal. You smell of starlight and old forests, little elf. Your people knew the ancient ways before they scattered to the void. Maya nodded. Some of us still remember. The white dragon moved closer, its movements flowing like liquid light. The metal hunters came with cages and chains. The crystal beings brought weapons of pain. The fur-covered warriors sought to poison our food supply. All of them saw us as animals to be broken and sold. But you offer us something different, the first dragon said. What do you want from us? Nothing, Maya said. I came to learn to understand. If you choose to share your knowledge, I will listen. If you choose to remain hidden, I will respect that choice and tell no one of this place. The 3 dragons exchanged glances that seemed heavy with unspoken communication. Finally, the leader nodded slowly. Come then, little librarian. Let us show you why the galaxy fears the children of the stars. The dragon lowered its great head until Maya could climb onto its neck. She had never flown before, but somehow she felt no fear. The dragon wings caught the evening air and they rose above the jungle toward the floating islands that hung in the twilight sky. As they climbed higher, Maya saw the truth that no alien hunter had discovered. The floating islands were not natural formations. They were the remains of an ancient city. Crystalline spires and elegant bridges connected platforms that defied gravity through technology beyond current galactic understanding. This is the last outpost of the Eternal Archive, the dragon explained as they landed on a platform covered in soft grass. Here we keep the star maps that show paths between dimensions, the songs that can calm space storms, the location of worlds where life can flourish in the deep void. Maya dismounted on shaking legs. The view from the floating island took her breath away. She could see the entire jungle below and beyond at the curve of Valithia itself against the star-filled sky. But it was the knowledge that truly staggered her. These dragons were not just intelligent. They were the keepers of scientific wisdom that could revolutionize the galaxy. The question was what to do with such a discovery. Maya looked into the golden eyes of the dragon who had brought her here. What happens now? She asked. That, the dragon said, depends on what kind of person you truly are. Maya stood on the floating island, watching the stars emerge in the alien sky. Around her, the crystalline ruins of an ancient civilization gleamed in the moonlight. The 3 dragons had withdrawn to give her time to process what she had learned. She was the first outsider in millennia to see the Eternal Archive. The responsibility of that knowledge weighed on her like a physical thing. These dragons were not just intelligent creatures. They were living libraries containing the wisdom of a spacefaring race that had died out before humans had even discovered fire. The black dragon approached her as she stood at the edge of the platform. We have decided to trust you, little elf. But trust must flow both ways. What do you mean? Maya asked. The dragon lowered its massive head until they were at eye level. We will share our knowledge with you. But in return, you must become our voice to the galaxy. Too long have we hidden while worlds burn and species destroy themselves. Maya felt her pulse quicken. You want me to be your ambassador? More than that. We want you to bond with us in the ancient way, to carry part of our essence so that our knowledge can spread beyond this single world. The blue dragon glided closer, its scales shimmering in the starlight. The bond will change you. You will see as we see, understand as we understand. But you will still be yourself, still be human. What exactly would I become? Maya asked. The first of a new kind, the white dragon said. Dragon touched. A bridge between our people and yours. Maya walked to the center of the platform where strange symbols were carved into the crystal floor, the same markings she had seen in the sacred grove below. Her elf heritage recognized them as signs of power and transformation. If I agree to this, what happens to my life? What happens to the humans on Valethia? They will be protected, the black dragon promised. We have watched your people for 5 years. They treat this world with respect, unlike the alien hunters. We would welcome them as neighbors. The blue dragon spread its wings wide. The knowledge we carry could help your species reach heights they have never imagined. Faster than light travel without ships. Ways to terraform dead worlds. The locations of hidden resources throughout the galaxy. But power without wisdom is dangerous, the white dragon warned. That is why we need you. Someone who understands both worlds, who can guide how this knowledge is used. Maya closed her eyes and reached out with senses her grandmother had taught her to use. She could feel the ancient power flowing through the floating islands, the weight of 3,000 years of guardianship, the loneliness of being the last of their kind. These dragons had been protectors, not conquerors. They had sacrificed everything to keep dangerous knowledge from falling into the wrong hands. Now they were offering to end their isolation to help a galaxy that had forgotten them. I accept, Maya said. The 3 dragons moved to surround her, forming a triangle around the crystal platform. They began to sing in voices that resonated through her bones. The carved symbols on the floor started to glow with soft light. Maya felt energy building around her like the charge before a lightning storm. The dragon song rose higher, becoming something beyond sound. Light poured from the crystal beneath her feet, and she felt herself lifted into the air. The black dragon was the first to touch her. Its great head pressed against her forehead, and suddenly Maya's mind exploded with new knowledge. Star charts filled her vision, showing paths between worlds that no human had ever seen. She understood the mathematics of dimensional travel and the physics of manipulating gravity. The blue dragon touched her next. This time the knowledge was different. Songs that could communicate across galactic distances, frequencies that could calm the violent storms between stars, ways to speak with the quantum forces that held reality together. Finally, the white dragon completed the bond. Its touch brought understanding of life itself, the locations of worlds where new species were evolving, ways to heal damaged ecosystems, the secret patterns that connected all living things throughout the universe. When the light faded, Maya collapsed to her knees, gasping. The knowledge was still there, but no longer overwhelming. It had become part of her, like memories she had always carried. She looked up to find the 3 dragons watching her with something like parental pride. How do you feel? The black dragon asked. Different, Maya said, but still me. Like I was incomplete before and now I am whole. The bond is strong, the blue dragon observed. Stronger than we expected. You have the heart of an explorer, Maya of Earth. That is why the archive chose you. Maya stood on unsteady legs. Her vision seemed sharper now. She could see energy patterns in the crystal ruins and feel the life force of the jungle far below. But most importantly, she could sense the vast loneliness that had driven these ancient beings to finally break their isolation. What happens now? She asked. Now we go home, the white dragon said, to your people. It is time for the dragons to rejoin the galaxy. The flight back to the human station took less than an hour. Maya rode on the back of the black dragon while its siblings flanked them through the night sky. As they approached the settlement, she could see lights blazing in every building. The entire station was awake and alert. Captain Brooks was standing in the landing area with a squad of Marines when the dragons touched down. His face went white as Maya climbed down from her mount. "Dr. Chen," Maya called out. "Stand down. They are not here to fight." But Brooks was already backing away, his hand on his sidearm. "My God, Maya, what have you done? Those things nearly killed the alien hunters." "They were defending themselves," Maya said calmly. "The aliens came here to capture and cage them. These dragons are people, Captain. Intelligent beings with their own civilization." The black dragon stepped forward, its golden eyes fixed on Brooks. "We mean no harm to your kind, human. We come to offer partnership, not conquest." Brooks dropped his weapon in shock. It spoke. The thing actually spoke. Maya moved between the captain and the dragons. "They have names, Captain. This is Shadowflight," she said, indicating the black dragon. "Her siblings are Starwing and Goldenheart. They are the last of their people, and they have been alone for 3,000 years. The other humans began to emerge from the buildings, drawn by curiosity despite their fear. Dr. Williams was among them, his scientific mind clearly fascinated by what he was seeing. Maya looked around at her fellow humans, then back at her new dragon companions. She had become something unique in the galaxy. The first human to bond with the ancient guardians. The bridge between two very different forms of intelligent life. The real adventure was just beginning. 3 weeks had passed since the dragons first landed at the human research station. The initial panic had given way to cautious cooperation as Captain Brooks and his team began to understand what Maya had discovered. Dr. Williams spent hours, each day interviewing Starwing about dragon biology while Maya translated. The blue-scaled dragons seemed to enjoy sharing knowledge about their species. They were not reptiles at all, but something closer to living crystal that had evolved over millions of years on worlds with high-energy radiation. Goldenheart, the white dragon, had taken interest in the human agriculture projects. The settlement had struggled to grow earth crops in alien soil, but the dragon knew techniques for enriching the ground that made plants grow faster and stronger than ever before. But it was Shadowflight who brought the most important news. Maya sat with the great black dragon in the sacred grove where they had first met. The bond between them had grown stronger each day, allowing them to share thoughts and emotions across vast distances. "Ships are coming," Shadowflight told her. "Many ships. Word has spread through the galaxy about what happened here." Maya felt a chill of worry. "More hunters, some," the dragon replied, "but also others. Scientists, diplomats, military forces. The failure of the alien hunting expedition has created fear. Some believe we dragons are too dangerous to exist." Maya stood and paced around the grove. She had expected this. The galactic powers would not simply accept that 3 dragons had defeated their best hunters. They would see it as a threat to their dominance. "What do we do?" she asked. "We prepare," Shadowflight said. "The archive contains weapons as well as wisdom. We have hidden them for 3,000 years, but the time for hiding may be ending." Maya felt a surge of knowledge through their bond. Images of crystalline ships that could phase through solid matter. Energy weapons that could disable entire fleets without destroying them. Defense systems that could protect a world from orbital bombardment. The ancient dragon civilization had been peaceful, but they had not been helpless. "But there might be another way," Maya said. "What if we could convince the galaxy that dragons are allies, not enemies?" Shadowflight tilted its massive head. "You have an idea." Little sister Maya smiled at the term of endearment. The dragons had begun calling her their sister since the bonding ceremony. In a way, it was true. She was no longer entirely human, but something new. "The Galactic Council meets on Centauri Prime next month," Maya said. "What if we went there, not to fight but to speak, to show them that dragons can be partners in exploration instead of prizes to be captured?" "It would be dangerous," Shadowflight warned. "Many of those species still hunt thinking beings for sport." Maya nodded. "But if we could reach just a few of them, the reasonable ones, we might prevent a war." Their conversation was interrupted by the sound of approaching shuttles. Maya looked up to see human ships descending from orbit. Military vessels with the markings of Earth Defense Command. Captain Brooks came running into the grove looking harried. Maya, we have visitors. Admiral Johnson from the Fifth Fleet. She wants to speak with you and the dragons immediately. Maya exchanged a look with Shadowflight. The dragon understanding flowed through their bond. This could be the first test of their new alliance. They found Admiral Johnson waiting in the station main conference room. She was a stern woman with gray hair and sharp blue eyes that missed nothing. Her aide, Colonel Martinez, stood at attention beside her. Dr. Chen Johnson said without preamble, I have read Captain Brooks' reports about your contact with the indigenous life forms. Earth Command has some concerns. Maya took a seat across from the Admiral. What kind of concerns? Johnson pulled out a data tablet. 3 alien battle fleets were destroyed or routed by these creatures. The Corthani Empire is demanding compensation. The Trade Federation is threatening sanctions. Some powers are calling for a joint military response to what they see as a new threat. The dragons are not a threat, Maya said firmly. They were defending their home from hunters who came to cage them. That may be true, Johnson replied. But perception matters in galactic politics. Right now, these dragons look like monsters who can destroy entire fleets. That makes people nervous. Shadowflight entered the room at that moment, moving with careful grace to avoid damaging the human-sized furniture. The Admiral and her aide both tensed, but Maya raised a calming hand. Admiral Johnson, may I present Shadowflight? Maya said formally. Elder of the Dragon Archive and Guardian of Valethia. The dragon lowered its great head in what Maya had learned was a greeting gesture among their people. I am honored to meet the leader of the human fleet, the dragon said. In perfect English, Johnson blinked in surprise. You speak our language. Shadowflight settled onto the floor with fluid motion. I speak all languages, Admiral. It is part of the knowledge we carry. Your species interests me. Most galactic powers see strength only in the size of their weapons, but humans seem to value cooperation over conquest. The Admiral leaned forward. Is that why you chose to ally with us? We chose to trust you, the dragon replied. There is a difference. Trust must be earned. Alliance must be built on mutual respect. Maya felt a surge of pride through their bond. Shadowflight was handling the diplomatic contact perfectly. Admiral Johnson, I have a proposal, Maya said. The Galactic Council meets next month. What if we arranged for dragon representatives to address them directly, to explain what they really are and what they offer? The Admiral frowned. That could be very dangerous. Half the council members would probably shoot first and ask questions later, which is why we need official Earth protection, Maya said. If the dragons come as guests of the human government under diplomatic immunity, it would be much harder for anyone to attack them. Johnson was quiet for a long moment, studying both Maya and Shadowflight. Finally, she spoke. What exactly would these dragons offer the council? Knowledge beyond imagination, Shadowflight replied. Star maps showing safe paths to unexplored regions, technology to heal damaged worlds, ways to communicate instantly across galactic distances. We offer partnership in the greatest adventure of all, the exploration of infinite space. The Admiral looked at Maya. And what do you get out of this arrangement? Maya smiled. The chance to see humanity take its place among the truly great civilizations, not as conquerors, but as explorers and teachers. Johnson stood and walked to the window overlooking the jungle. In the distance, they could see Starwing and Goldenheart flying between the floating islands in an intricate aerial dance. Very well, she said finally. I will recommend to Earth Command that we extend diplomatic protection to your dragons. But they will need to prove themselves at the council meeting. One wrong move in this alliance could start a war. Maya nodded. We understand the risks, Admiral, but the potential rewards are worth it. Shadowflight made a sound like distant music. Thank you for this chance, Admiral Johnson. We have been guardians for so long. It will be good to be teachers again. As the Admiral and her aide prepared to leave, Maya felt a mixture of excitement and fear through her bond with the dragon. They had taken the first step toward bringing dragons back into the galaxy. Now came the hard part. Convincing a council of alien species that the greatest predators, in known space actually wanted to be their friends. The grand chamber of the Galactic Council on Centauri Prime buzzed with nervous energy as representatives from across known space took their seats. Maya stood in the speakers gallery watching hundreds of different alien species file into the massive hall. She had never seen so many different forms of intelligent life in one place. The crystalline Vex clicked and chimed as they moved on legs of living glass. Massive Gorvani delegates stomped in on hooved feet, their fur bristling with embedded technology. The insectoid Threx skittered along the walls on adhesive pads while aquatic Delari floated in mobile water tanks. All of them were here because of the events on Valethia. Admiral Johnson stood beside Maya in the human delegation area. The older woman looked calm, but Maya could sense her tension. This meeting would determine whether dragons joined galactic civilization as partners, or if they would be hunted as threats. The three dragons waited in a special chamber beneath the council hall. Shadowflight, Starwing, and Goldenheart had agreed to remain hidden until Maya called for them. Their presence was already causing panic among some species who remembered the ancient legends. Council Speaker Varix called the session to order. His people, the Zenthari, were among the oldest space-faring races and traditionally served as mediators. Today is a historic gathering, he announced in the universal translation language. We meet to discuss the dragon situation on the world called Valethia. Maya felt her heart race as murmurs spread through the hall. The dragon situation. As if three beings with more knowledge than the rest of the galaxy combined were simply a problem to be solved. Commander Zephyr of the Corthani Empire rose first. His bandaged arm was clear evidence of his encounter with dragonfire. These monsters destroyed my fleet, he declared. They are too dangerous to be allowed to live. I call for immediate military action. A chorus of agreement rose from several delegations. The Vex representative added their crystalline voice to the demand. They possess technology beyond our understanding. They could conquer any world they choose. Maya looked to Admiral Johnson, who nodded slightly. This was her cue. Council Speaker Maya called out, I request permission to address this gathering. Barracks consulted his notes. Dr. Maya Chen of Earth, you are listed as the xenobiologist who made first contact with the dragons. You may speak. Maya walked to the central platform, feeling hundreds of alien eyes upon her. The chamber fell silent as she reached the podium. Honored delegates, she began. You speak of dragons as monsters and threats, but you are wrong. They are not beasts. They are people, ancient people with knowledge that could benefit every species in this hall. Laughter erupted from the Gorvani section. One of their war chiefs stood up. People, he scoffed. Things that breathe fire and destroy starships are not people. They are weapons that must be controlled. Maya felt anger flash through her bond with Shadowflight. The great dragon was listening from below and shared her frustration at the ignorance being displayed. Let me show you what dragons really are, Maya said. She activated the holographic display system and shared knowledge that Shadowflight had given her. Images filled the air above the assembly. Crystal cities floating between stars. Elegant ships that moved like living beings through space. Gardens that bloomed on airless moons. This was the Dragon Archive, Maya explained, a civilization that spanned 1,000 worlds. They were explorers and teachers. They mapped the dangerous regions of space so others could travel safely. They seeded dead worlds with life. The images changed, showing the great war that had consumed the dragon civilization. Entire star systems burning as an enemy from outside the galaxy had invaded. The desperate flight of the last survivors to hidden worlds where they could preserve what remained of their knowledge. 3 dragons were sent to Valethia, Maya continued. Children when they arrived, now the last keepers of all this wisdom. For 3,000 years they have guarded knowledge that could revolutionize our understanding of the universe. She gestured toward the viewing gallery where Admiral Johnson sat. They chose to trust humanity with this secret, not because we conquered them, but because we showed them respect. Commander Zephyr rose again. Pretty pictures prove nothing. These creatures destroyed my ships. They are too dangerous to exist. Maya took a deep breath. Then let them speak for themselves. Before anyone could object, she sent a mental call through her bond. The response was immediate. The chamber floor began to glow with soft light. Gasps of alarm rippled through the assembly as 3 dragons materialized in the center of the hall. Their technology made them appear as if they were stepping through a doorway between worlds. Shadowflight stood in the middle, with Starwing and Goldenheart flanking. The great black dragon was magnificent even in the artificial light of the council chamber. Every eye in the hall fixed on the ancient beings who had haunted galactic legends for centuries. Honored Council Shadowflight spoke in a voice that carried to every corner of the massive chamber. I am Shadowflight, Elder of the Archive. These are my siblings Starwing and Goldenheart. We come not as conquerors but as teachers. The hall erupted in chaos. Some delegates fled for the exits while others shouted for security. Several species reached for weapons before Admiral Johnson stood and called for calm. We are under diplomatic immunity, she announced. Any attack on the dragon delegates will be considered an act of war against Earth. The Zenthari council speaker managed to restore order. You claim to be teachers, he said to Shadowflight. What would you teach us knowledge that could end scarcity in the galaxy? The dragon replied. We know the locations of resource-rich worlds in unexplored space. We can share technology to terraform planets in decades instead of centuries. We offer the secrets of instantaneous communication across any distance. Starwing stepped forward. We have watched your species struggle with the same problems for millennia. Wars over resources that need not be scarce. Colonies cut off when hyperspace routes shift. We can help solve these challenges. Goldenheart spoke last. We offer partnership, not dominion. Work with us to explore the infinite wonders of space. Let us teach you the songs that calm stellar storms and the mathematics that allow travel between dimensions. The hall fell silent as the delegates absorbed what they were hearing. These were not monsters threatening conquest. They were librarians, offering to share the greatest collection of knowledge in galactic history. Commander Zephyr tried one last objection. How do we know this is not a trick? Some elaborate deception to lower our guard. Maya stepped forward again. Because they had 3,000 years to conquer the galaxy if they wanted to. Instead, they remained hidden, protecting knowledge from those who would misuse it. Only when they saw that humanity valued cooperation over conquest did they choose to reveal themselves. She gestured toward the dragons. They defeated your hunting fleets because you came as slavers, not guests. Show them respect, and they will share wonders beyond imagination. The vote was closer than Maya had hoped, but the proposal passed. The dragons would be granted provisional membership in the Galactic Council. They would establish embassies on major worlds and begin sharing selected knowledge with species that proved worthy. As the session ended, Maya felt a surge of joy through her bond with Shadowflight. They had done it. After 3,000 years of isolation, the dragons were returning to galactic civilization. The real work was just beginning. There would be setbacks and conflicts as ancient prejudices died hard. Some species would always see the dragons as threats rather than teachers, but Maya was confident that wisdom would prevail. Humanity had shown the way by offering friendship instead of conquest. Other species would follow that example given time. She looked at her 3 dragon companions as they prepared to leave the council chamber. Shadowflight caught her eye and sent a pulse of warm gratitude through their bond. Thank you, little sister, the dragon said, for giving us back our purpose. Maya smiled. Thank you for trusting us with your knowledge. Together they walked toward a future where dragons and humans would explore the infinite wonders of space as partners. The galaxy would never be the same, and that was exactly as it should be.